This is the CBC Morning Report for today, Thursday, June 29th. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story, financial advice this morning from those interested in the cannabis industry. One of the main hindrances to the development of the industry is that of banking. Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, says the way to unlock it will depend on Barbados, who Barbados relates to, and with.
We feel, quite frankly, that as it relates to medicinal cannabis, so long as the money is in the banking system and all the transactions are taking place digitally, then there should be no element of risk associated with that, and therefore banks ought to, on the face of that, allow the facilitation of it. But of course, if you have, as I said, at the federal level in the United States, where you may want to export these things, they're saying it's illegal, but at the state level it's not. Then you're going to always have a situation where, again, the rules will apply differently, because at the end of it, we want to, not just on the pharmaceutical side of it, deal with the medicines, but at the end of the day, there's a big world out there. And therefore, if our only focus is to export to the United States or Canada, then we will continue to have this problem. And therefore, with the frameworks that we're putting in place with the African Exempt Bank with respect to the payment settlement, provision of correspondent banking, then we have to determine, obviously, where we send stuff, where we market, and therefore, again, if we're going to diversify. When people are using their own regulatory systems to keep you down, effectively, to keep you down, then we have to find other ways to survive. But from a banking perspective, so long as the money is clean, it's already in the system, there's really no legitimate excuse for not facilitating it from that perspective, because it is like any other pharmaceutical business. We're doing R&D and research in order to be able to drive that. That's from our perspective.
Chief Executive Director of Sagicor Bank, George Thomas, says it's a complex problem which we have to dig into.
If persons in Barbados, companies, want to continue doing business in the U.S. and in Canada, the correspondent banks, even if we find an alternate, like the Afrexim Bank, and we are in Sagicor Bank is in discussions with Afrexim Bank, that notwithstanding it, the correspondent banks will de-risk you unless we get to a place where there is common acceptance at a federal level that, and again, maybe it will probably start, I believe, with the medicinal use of it as opposed to recreational products. But that is, it's not an easy, there's no easy solution to this. So for now, that's why you won't find any of the banks that have really stepped forward. But it's something that we are keeping the mind open to, and doing the required work to see if we can get to an equitable solution.
Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, a malaria alert in the U.S. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a health advisory over the spread of a few malaria cases in Florida and Texas, marking the first time locally there acquired infections of the disease have been detected in the U.S. in 20 years.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control has issued a nationwide alert after 5 cases of malaria were reported in 2 states over the last 2 months.
Each year, particularly before COVID, we saw about 2,000 cases of malaria in the United States each year. But that was from people who were traveling abroad and acquired it internationally. What is different this time and why we put out the health notice to doctors and to the public is we had 5 cases of domestically acquired malaria, meaning people got it from in the United States, 4 in Florida and 1 in Texas.
All of the patients are recovering after receiving medical attention, and so far there's no indication that the cases are linked. Malaria is caused by parasites carried by certain female mosquitoes. Symptoms include fever, chills, headache, muscle pain and fatigue. It can also cause kidney failure, seizures and coma. The disease is most common in warm countries, especially those with tropical climates. There were more than 600,000 deaths globally in 2021. But officially, malaria was eradicated in the United States in 1970.
It is a little alarming to have a disease that we've eliminated from the United States and then have these few local cases. But they are a few cases. And I think that public health measures are really important for both tracking where the malaria is and then therefore making any interventions like trying to prevent more mosquito bites, either by decreasing the mosquito population or asking everyone to wear mosquito repellent. Like these are all things that can prevent ongoing transmission.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control stresses that the risk of malaria remains low in the United States. But there are fears that the record heat waves and storms that have been spawned by climate change are creating the conditions for malaria-carrying mosquitoes to breed and survive in areas where they previously could not.
The United Kingdom is looking for foreigners as not enough Brits are joining that workforce.
It takes many hands on deck to land the week's catch. UK waters are teeming with opportunities, but there aren't enough British workers to crew the boats and process the produce.
We've had problems trying to recruit young people into the industry for a while. It just doesn't seem to be a job that young people are wanting to do anymore, unfortunately. We've been setting up apprenticeships and trying to get young people in that way, but it's still not working in terms of homegrown talent.
The government's responded to the labour crisis in the fishing industry by quietly agreeing to allow more foreign workers into the country, despite touting control over immigration as a main reason for leaving the EU. In fact, 3 years after Brexit, UK net migration has never been higher.
The problem is there just simply aren't enough British workers willing to labour in dangerous and often cramped conditions. And also the tight profit margins mean that wages can be extremely unpredictable. Now, under a new government scheme, they're allowing employers to hire many more foreign workers, paying them potentially substantially less than local hires. In order to keep the industry afloat, it needs all the labour it can get.
30% of the UK's fishing crews are foreign, recruited through agencies from countries such as Ghana and the Philippines, where almost the entire crew of this vessel is from. Roland Berlian's here 8 months a year because the money's good. Lower salaries could drive much-needed workers elsewhere.
Money in here is really good, really good. I really appreciate it, and the people, they treat us very good. Yeah, food is okay, accommodation is okay, everything is very good.
Industry leaders are now urging the government to loosen its rules to help resolve the labour shortage, including scrapping strict English language requirements. The irony is the fishing industry was a poster child for those advocating leaving the EU, but the promised boom hasn't happened. And the UK still doesn't have many of the freedoms of other coastal states, including EU member France. Fisherman of 35 years, David Wilson, feels lied to.
Yeah, we were sold down the river with Brexit. We were promised gold and we got coal.
Fishing joins construction on the government's shortage occupation list. Retail and hospitality are lobbying hard to be included too, after losing huge numbers of staff from the European Union when the freedom to work in the UK ended. Tacit recognition, say many of these fishermen, of Brexit's failure to make Britain a better market for business.
Well, we have lots coming up on Morning Barbados. That starts at 6:30. The Student Revolving Loan Fund will be in as they tell us about cybersecurity training and how you can get involved. We'll also reach out and speak with the rector and a member of the St. George Parish Church as they tell us how musical maestros are being celebrated at the church. We feature an exceptional young man in our Exceptional Youth segment, and we're going to tell you all about the art installation for the ceremonial delivery of the last canes coming up on Saturday. Plus, we're going to make that link between Barbados and Liberia through a docu-series. That's all coming up at 6:30 on Morning Barbados. But next, more news, sports and weather. So stay with us. A former tourism minister is confident Barbados has concocted the right formula to register a significant increase in visitor arrivals for the upcoming winter tourist season. After seeing firsthand the efforts of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated on the ground, Barbados Ambassador to the U.S. Organization of American States, His Excellency Noel Lynch, strongly believes there will be a further rebound for the island's tourism sector in the coming months. Speaking exclusively to CBC News, Ambassador Lynch explains the BTMI has been able to address some outstanding issues, chief among them getting people on planes flying into Barbados.
Period when people were complaining a lot about the price of the actual tariff to be able to get a seat coming into Barbados. I think that is being resolved. The other issue that the team has been working on is working with the intermediaries to see how best we can get not only more airline seats available for people to come into Barbados, but advertising and promotion, because the people that really make a difference, and I don't think a lot of people recognize this, the tour operators are still responsible for maybe 85% of the people coming into Barbados. And I believe that the relationship that the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. has created with those intermediaries, Expedia and the like, to be able to get people to come to Barbados is making the difference.
Another concern, according to Ambassador Lynch, has been the quality of hotel rooms on offer in Barbados. That, he says, has been addressed.
There was a period of time when there was a talk about some form of mismatch between what you actually got on the ground and what was the perceived value. But I believe that opening up of the Wyndham, the Sam Laws Castle Hotel, I believe that the refurbishments that have gone on and what the government has been able to do to allow people to be able to get more quality rooms in Barbados has starting to make a difference.
German carrier Condor Airlines is returning to Barbados. The airline and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated have announced the return of Condor, connecting Frankfurt with the island. Chairman of the board of the BTMI, Shelley Williams, issued a statement following the development. She notes Germany has traditionally been the stronger market for Barbados within the European bloc. Tickets are already on sale. The BTMI also completed a successful tour of England, Scotland and Ireland, meeting with top travel partners including tour operators, travel agents and airlines to assess Barbados' position in the market and explore opportunities for increasing business. Additionally, local tourism officials are confident Barbados is in good standing with the UK market for the upcoming winter season. Saturday's ceremonial delivery of the last canes promises to be an extravaganza not to be missed. The event, which has been launched with Digicel as its title sponsor, will be going to a different venue, as we hear from Chief Cultural Officer of the National Cultural Foundation, Andrea Wells.
The theme, Sugar Reimagined, the Digicel ceremonial delivery of the last canes and vintage Calypso tent promises to be one of the most exciting festival launches in recent history. Saturday's event is an exciting mix of color, drama, music, culinary fare, craft, culture, and homage, all taking place at a newly refurbished location in the north of the island.
Chief Executive Officer of Digicel, Natalie Abrams, says the Love Crop Over theme embodies the essence of their support for the festival and has a special place for many.
Barbados, with its rich cultural heritage and warm, welcoming spirit, has embraced Digicel as more than just a telecommunications company. We are an integral part of the tapestry of this nation, a part of its history, its present, and its promising future. Cropover is integral to the fabric of our community, and supporting the festival allows us to actively engage our community, support and build stronger connections, and give back.
A number of tokens were presented to Ms. Wells by Digicel before Ambassador Mikey performed 2023 hits all over the place, and even the rain could not stop that jam as they prepare for the traditional launch of the festival and vintage tent on Saturday at Hayman's. It will be live on all of CBC's services, CBC TV 8, and you can listen live on 100.7 as well. St. Lucia's agriculture sector was dealt a major blow by the passage of Tropical Storm Brett. The banana industry was the most affected sector. DBS has that report.
The Agriculture Minister Alfred Prosper shared a preliminary assessment of the impact of Tropical Storm Brett on the agriculture sector. 75% of the banana industry was severely damaged. The plantain subsector also sustained major damage. Out of the 895 acres of plantain, about 678 acres were destroyed. The Agriculture Minister is extremely concerned about the added challenge the storm damage brings to the beleaguered banana industry.
Especially considering the importance of the banana industry and the availability of markets in the region that we were not able to meet in recent months, this has caused a major setback to us. Because as I mentioned a few weeks ago, we have an available market of 15,000 boxes per week for the region, but we're only meeting half of the requirement, which is about 7,500.
The minister also expressed concern about the number of fruits thrown down by Brett's strong winds, including mangoes, avocados, plums, and guavas. Few of these fruits will be available for consumption, he says. Preliminary estimates indicate that 41 acres of vegetables and 18 greenhouses were destroyed, affecting a little over 100 farmers.
I want to say how pleased I was when I went to the ground yesterday to do the site visit to the areas like Dennery North, Bexon, Curlisac, Roseau, and especially going to a place in Mac called the Concrete Road. It was amazing to see some of the farmers had already begun their rehabilitation. And we were actually seeing them doing the cutting back and the replanting, which indicates that we have some really serious farmers and, farmers who understand the importance of their livelihoods in a situation like that. And that is just something that, we have to expect during this time of year.
Minister Prosper has promised that the government will do its best to provide support. The devastating impact re-emphasizes the need for agricultural insurance, says the minister. Agricultural insurance eases post-disaster recoveries by ensuring policyholders receive compensation in the event of perils like a storm.
Grenada's Coast Guard Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force has been outfitted with another vessel to assist with patrolling coastal areas for law enforcement and also for search and rescue missions. It was donated by the USA. GBN reports.
On the heels of visits in May for the purpose of gaining a first-hand perspective on the different CMOS farms and understanding the specific challenges faced by the farmers, a validation consultation was held on Thursday as the findings were presented to stakeholders from the industry. The findings reveal that the current
That, of course, was the story on Grenada's Ministry of Agriculture seeing potential in their CMOS industry. The country continues to receive support from the Food and Agriculture Organization as it develops strategies to guide the industry and improve the export of CMOS. And that report was from MTV News. The United States President Joe Biden has laid out a broad economic plan he says will help restore the American dream as he readies the presidential election 2024. Speaking from Chicago, Illinois on Wednesday, Biden outlined his proposal for Bidenomics.
President Joe Biden is selling a rebranded economic program the White House is calling
Bidenomics. I didn't come up with the name. I really didn't. Bidenomics is about building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down.
In what the White House calls a major economic address as the presidential campaign heats up, the president made Chicago his first stop on a tour to promote his economic program. The tour, aides say, is an attempt to promote his trillion-dollar infrastructure law passed in 2021 that added more money for roads, bridges, and schools. This week, the White House also announced a plan to expand internet access for rural communities. On the president's Bidenomics tour, he's touting near historic low unemployment, slowing inflation, and the massive bipartisan infrastructure bill he pushed through Congress. But the term Bidenomics could go from positive to pejorative if the economy heads south. The presidential election is more than a year away, but some analysts say rebranding Biden's economic program with a phrase that borrows from President Ronald Reagan's popular Reaganomics in the 1980s might be too little, too late to help him.
Here we are 2 years into this administration, and we get this nebulous term, and I think many people are it's not going to move the needle any way, shape, or form. But again, because of this administration's track record, it's highly unlikely that we're going to see them actually identify it.
Polls show the majority of Americans are unhappy with Biden's handling of the economy, coupled with a tightening race between Biden and his likely Republican rival in 2024, former President Donald Trump.
Bidenomics is about the future. Bidenomics is just another way of saying restore the American dream.
Whether Bidenomics can give the current president an edge will be tested in the administration's new campaign to promote it.
All may God protect our troops.
In sports, the Barbados men's hockey team delivered in fine style yesterday, demolishing El Salvador by 14 goals to nil to capture their first win at the 2023 Central American and Caribbean Games hockey competition. Ably led by captain Akeem Rudder, who dominated the scoring with a beaver trick, Barbados secured a comfortable 3 points in their first Pool A match against the CAC Games hosts. Rudder opened his account with a goal in the 6th minute before scoring again in the 20th, 22nd and 41st minutes. 4 other Bajans would complete a brace: Chris Holder, Shea Roach, Justin Catlin and Cody Gibson. Afterwards, Rudder said he was proud of their opening performance.
My performance, I'm very happy with it. I think I took the opportunities that I had. Very happy with Team Barbados. I think we came out and we didn't have a good first quarter, but then we picked it up for the rest of the game, and we just executed today, and I'm very, very proud of the boys.
Meanwhile, in surfing, top local competitor Chelsea Tuak is into the finals of the women's short board after winning round 3 heat with 14.70 points. Jacob Burke didn't make the repechage final in the men's shortboard after finishing third in round 3. And in swimming, Adara Stoddart didn't reach the final of the women's 200-meter individual medley after finishing 15th overall in the heats. It's time now to take a look at the weather. The barometric pressure stands at 1014.1 millibars. It's 27 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity stands at 80%, and the winds are blowing out of the east at 20 kilometers per hour. Present weather partly cloudy. Sea conditions for today: smooth to moderate in open water, with swells ranging from 1 to 2 meters. And here's a look at how the tides roll in today. General forecast for Barbados: partly sunny with a few brief isolated light showers. And as we move into the evening period, you can expect partly cloudy conditions with a few isolated light showers. Here's a look at a few select international cities. The world is definitely warming up. And that, of course, brings us to the end of today's presentation of the Morning Report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations, 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
It's Thursday, June 29th. Welcome to another presentation of Morning Barbados. Indeed, good morning to you. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning, and we have lots to unpack today. Of course, today is International Fisherman's Day, and is being observed today, the 29th. Now, Fisherman's Day is celebrated all over the world and is incredibly important to the food chain. That's right, since the fish that are caught are major sources of nutrition for the inhabitants of every nation of the world, indeed across the globe. So fishing is a prehistoric activity that has been associated with mankind since inception. Although the activity dates back many years, there's hardly any corner of the planet where fishermen are not present carrying out their duty. For the brave, fishing is a thrilling and adventurous sport. International Fisherman's Day is observed by thousands of people as a way of celebrating the men and women who work in the fishing industry. The day is observed by a variety of celebrations, with fish serving as the main entree. Today we celebrate and salute all of our fisherfolk here in Barbados on International Fisherman's Day. Celebrations for the day here in Barbados will be on Saturday, July 1st, when the Bridgetown Fisherfolk Association presents the Fisherman's Day Fair and Festival. We told you about that earlier in the week. The theme is Feeding the Nation One Fish at a Time, and it will be a family affair. So make sure you go on out and celebrate with them. And I know you have your favorite fisher folk. I have to say a special good morning to Sharon at the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex. That's my connection. So I know that everybody has their person or their people who they prefer to go to and get their fish. So make sure that you give them a shout today. Now we have lots to get through today on the program, so we're going to be moving fairly quickly. There's lots happening all across Barbados as we truly get back to a place where we're reopening and re-engaging. Now there's still pockets of people moving around with masks and so on, but as you move around, make sure you select the option that's right for you. So if you have a compromised immune system, You definitely want to make sure that you wear your mask because we're hearing about increased numbers with COVID-19. There's also a new variant that's around. There's no guarantee that it's not here in Barbados. So make sure you take care of yourselves. We're going to have the St. George Parish Church coming through to tell us all about a concert that is all about celebrating musical maestros, a celebration of Caribbean music. And Senator the Reverend Canon Dr. John Rogers will be in, the priest from St. John Anglican Church. He will be in to share with us. Adrian Alcock as well, representative Pine St. Michael, Corner St. Lucie community. Adrian Alcock will be in to share with us a little bit more about that particular concert. Also, Stefan Hines, former National Sports Council schoolboy champion. He's going to be here. He will be our celebrated exceptional youth for today. So we have that to look forward to. I know it's always an exceptional time saluting our wonderful young people here in Barbados and across the world. And we're talking soccer camp. We're going to continue to tell you a few of the options that we've heard about for summer camps all this summer holiday, which will run down to like the middle of September because the children are due back I believe on September 18th or so. So quite a long time they're going to be home. And I know for us working parents, we have to figure out what we're going to do to engage the little ones' minds, not just leave them wandering hopelessly during the day. So we need some options of what we can do. We're going to tell you about the Soccer Academy. And a few people will be in to share some interesting details about Camp Superior. Shaquan Robert, Eric Puckering, Jafar Wilson will be here to share more about that. We'll be telling you about the ceremonial delivery of the last Cairns art installation with Rodney Eiffel, who's the NCF Visual Arts Officer, and the curator of that installation, Onika Clark, will also be here to talk to us about that. Plus, there's a new series called The Children of Lemongrass Street, Barbadians in Liberia. We have Shireen Smith, Ophelia Weeks, and Tiffany Curtis talking about Our History TV and that particular series and making the link for us to Barbados. But to get things started, we'd like to welcome the members of the Student Revolving Loan Fund. And we've been talking over the last few weeks about the cybersecurity training course that's being made available to just about any and everyone. All you have to do is go get online, do your research, talk to them, and you can be starting a new career before you know it. Let's welcome Monique Wilson of the Student Revolving Loan Fund. Also with us, we have Rashad Selman and Simone Gill, who are past students. Simone is the valedictorian, and they're here to share more about this cybersecurity training course. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to have all of you with us. Now, let's start with you, Monique. Talk to me about the connection. How did the Student Revolving Loan Fund hear about this awesome opportunity, and how easy is it to become a part of the program?
Okay, the SRLF, we partnered with the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, Sudoku Cyber Inc., George Brown College, and Cyber Nations. It's an opportunity for Barbadians 18 years and older to earn a qualification in cybersecurity. To get started, you just visit our website, www.srlfloan.edu.bb.
Easy. All right, so let's go to Rashad now. As a past student, what piqued your interest, first of all, in the cybersecurity course?
Well, I'll get straight to the point. The opportunity for a career change, a new pathway, something that gives me a bit more freedom in terms of what I can do. And then, of course, I am a bit of a computer geek, so this ticks a lot of the boxes in terms of what I want to do with my future for the next 5-10 years.
So let's shift over now to Simone. Does the same apply for you? Are you also a bit of a computer geek? is what you decided to share?
No, please, but similar to Rashad, when I had enrolled in this course, I noticed that there was a relevance of cybersecurity within our country. And what piqued my interest was the current degree I'm pursuing, economics and finance at the university, where we would have touched on cryptocurrencies and cybersecurity. And I also wanted to bring some form of cybersecurity hygiene, proper hygiene, to myself and my community as well.
Now, you are valedictorian of, I would imagine, the cohort that you participated in. So, applause to you. That's no easy feat. So, talk to me about your journey with the particular program.
Oh my, where would I begin? The program was very intense. It was 16 weeks of intense work. And we had a cohort of just over 150 students. And we had theoretical processes. We learned different frameworks. And also those would have included industry standards, also risk management processes that we would use either to mitigate, avoid, or transfer risks. And there were some virtual simulations that we would have used as well to assist us with how we would go about doing processes in real world.
Well, Rashad, was that your experience as well? For you, did it feel like 16 weeks of just intense work to get through the program?
I will admit it has been quite a climb up a mountain, a proverbial mountain, but having a better lay of the land, a better understanding of what our cybersecurity stance is, having a better understanding of what we can do to prevent any future threats and incidences. I think it was definitely a journey to just try to keep on top of the coursework, keep on top of the projects, keep on top of all of the assignments as well. And yeah.
Would you say, Rashad, that somebody should have a background in maybe computer science or computer studies? Would that make it easier? Or do you think that someone who has no background at all will be able to get through the project? Now, the program. Now, I know that Simone said her background is in finance and economics, but we've been getting that question a lot. People call me every week. We talk about this. People call me and they say, you know, I don't necessarily have a background in computers. Could this still be right for me?
Definitely. This is a field that grants these skill sets for artists, for any persons in blue-collar jobs, any type of trade as well, because you are going to be required to communicate with stakeholders, C-level type persons, executives as well. You're going to be able to, well, you're going to need to be able to get certain points across to your corporate audience. So there are lots of relatable skills that you're going to be able to take with you to enter into this field. Yeah.
Is that your thinking as well, Simone? As somebody who wasn't a computer geek, I'm flogging it. You know, did you feel like you had to start from scratch? For you, Simone?
Hi.
Yeah. Did you feel like you had to start from scratch as somebody who didn't necessarily come in with a background in computers?
Yes, please. I did. I definitely did. But I found that with my cohort, they were able to assist me with the process, and it was much easier.
All right, that's excellent news. And then to come out top of the class really makes the difference. So Monique, let's go through the process of applying. I know you kind of laid it out and you said go to the website and so on, but let's go through the process once again so people understand what happens. So they reach out to the Student Revolving Loan Fund, you get online, you fill an application, and from there what happens?
Well, after you fill the application, a loans officer, well, I'm the lead loans officer on the project, so I will reach out to you regarding your application to ensure you have all the documentation. Then the other stage.
What documentation is that you will need?
You would need one piece of national identification, a police certificate of character, proof of address, a medical certificate. Now, the loan needs to be secured by either a surety or security.
Okay, continue.
Okay, a surety is basically someone between the ages of 21 and 60 who's willing to back you on the loan. For security, you can use cash, government bonds, cash surrender value on insurance policy. The loan is for 14,000 Barbados dollars. Now, for the $14,000, you get the cost of the tuition, you get the software, and we also provide a laptop. There is the option, however, if you don't need a laptop, if you have a computer already, where you can just borrow $11,000. That being said, if you do not require financing from Student Revolving Loan Fund, you can still go ahead and do the program, but you will need to complete an application online.
Okay, so even if you're not going to move forward with financing, just to be clear, you still need to do that application form through the Student Revolving Loan Fund's website to be able to come to be a part of the course. Yes?
That is correct, because through our website, then you would do the plum assessment, which is a requirement by Cyber Nations.
And then what's the outcome? Because I think this is the most engaging part of it, or appealing part of it, is what the possibilities are at the end.
Once you have successfully completed the program, you will be granted job placement. And I can say will because from the first cohort, we've met with Cyber Nations and they have confirmed that 80% of the first cohort who have graduated have received job placement. And this is only 27 days after graduation.
That's indeed excellent. Rashad, has that been your experience?
Yes, definitely. It's actually been more fast-paced than I'm still coming to terms that I just got a cybersecurity job. Yeah, they've been putting in a lot of work. They managed to start the process of placements, I think, the day before our graduation. So that in itself is exemplary. Very impressive. To have almost less than 18% of the students left to be placed, I think that is definitely an achievement in just a month after the graduation.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen these types of results in any course whatsoever. Having gone through the university, you hear a lot of students say that it's difficult even after then to be able to go out and get some work. Simone, what has been your experience? Did they thrust you away from economics and finance?
No, they haven't actually. What I am also looking to do is to leverage this along with procurement. I have procurement under my wings as well, to be able to leverage it a bit to coincide with cybersecurity. So, and Cyber Nations kept their word.
All right, that's definitely very, very interesting. It's great to hear about the experiences that you both have had, which seem very, very similar in nature. So Rashad, talk to me about doing it online. I know throughout COVID we got accustomed to that. That's not necessarily something that we even used to think about, I think, that deeply in Barbados before COVID-19. And someone said, hey, I'm going to do a course online. People were like, we're not sure if it's a real course or not. So let's talk about the mode of delivery.
So the virtual format, I know that in our culture is not something that we are accustomed to. I myself have been part of and teaching online classes during the pandemic, so I personally have felt the need for and the benefit of such environments. What Cyber Nations has done is to give us a very practical virtual approach to the course delivery. They have a platform very similar to what we may use with the university. You will go on, log on, you have access to the Zoom links, you have access to all of the course content, your grades, your assessments, everything is organized to a T. It is impressive. There's lots of exercises that we get to do where we engage our group members. So there's a lot of teamwork and collaboration, which is extremely important. in this field, and yeah, just building camaraderie and ensuring that we can all meet a goal. I think this program definitely managed to do that in a virtual format, and it's very impressive that it did that.
What about you, Simone? Having studied at the University of the West Indies, I would imagine in a face-to-face format, how is it moving into a hybrid format? Because for some people, you have to be really self-motivated in getting those hours in. I think Rashad mentioned it earlier, keeping on top of the assignments, keeping on top of your reading and so on. It's not necessarily where you have somebody there saying, where you know, I'm showing up for this particular time, you know, where you can sometimes do it at leisure. It can be a little bit of a different dynamic.
Yes, it was. But I would say what played a big part in this was being self motivated and driven, because I knew what I was working towards, and knowing especially how I would be able to assist with my community, my family, the country in extension, and also seeing what was going on in Barbados, what was happening with the credit unions, other communities as well. So I knew I wanted to play a part in this, and I was driven by that. So it was no holds bar. Simone, you have this.
Wow, I can see that you guys both enjoyed doing this program, and you truly are good ambassadors for the program. I myself am thinking about, can I do cybersecurity? I mean, you know, it might be an interesting thing to do. So that is definitely a good thing. So congratulations to you, Rashad Selman, for completing the program, and congratulations to you, Simone Gill, who you completed the program and valedictorian of your cohort. Excellent job to both of you. Congratulations on that. And of course, this is done in association, like Monique would have told us, with the Government of Barbados, George Brown College, and SDOCCA Cyber Inc. Last word for you, Monique, on how people, why people should get involved with this program.
You should get involved with the program because it's an excellent opportunity to either start a new career or do a career change. It is an industry that continues to grow. The more we go online and we live online, the industry will grow and there will be job opportunities. We are providing financing. The program is 4 months. And while you're studying for the 4 months at with SRLF, there are no payments, no interest on the loan. After the 4 months, you get 4 months grace period, and then the repayment begins. I just want to say the deadline for applications for this cohort is actually on Sunday, July 2nd, so it's 4 days away. If you have any questions, give us a call, 535-0834, or visit us, www.srlfloan.edu.bb. We are here to assist in any way that we can.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank all of you for coming through and sharing with us. Definitely some food for thought. Wonderful to have you on Morning Barbados.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, wasn't that a wonderful story? Feel good. Yeah, definitely those of you looking for a career change, that's a great idea. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're talking musical maestros. The St. George Parish Church is celebrating with a few musicians. That's coming up. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's not often on Morning Barbados that we get a peek into what's happening in St. George. So it's wonderful to have joining us this morning Senator the Reverend Canon Dr. John Rogers. I have to get that right. Priest at the St. George Anglican Church. And joining us is also Adrian Elcock, who is chair of the fundraising committee at the church. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today, Tisha?
Doing well, thank you. How are you guys? Starting with you, Adrian.
Brilliant. Doing well.
Reverend Doctor.
I'm doing well, and you wanted to find out what's happening in St. George is sunny.
It can't be sunny in St. George. You have the same lot as the Philippines, rain every day.
Well, we get a little blessing every day, but it is beautiful outside today.
All right, beautiful as always. So I'm going to start with you, Reverend Doctor. Tell us all about this celebration of Caribbean musicians with this concert, Musical Maestros, that's coming up.
Okay, thank you. This is our second edition of Musical Maestros. It was believed that as the church, we need to encourage whatever good is happening in the society and encourage even greater good. And one of the things I've always been passionate about is our local culture, Caribbean culture, our music, the expression of our music, our lyrics, and how our local griots help to educate us about what is happening in the belly of our society. And that is what we've been trying to do. Our first edition would have been in 2019 when we were able to have the High Priest of Calypso himself, David Roddick, here with us. And, unfortunately, he has had a diagnosis earlier this year, and we continue to pray for him. But we wanted to expose the brilliance of his lyrics, and the same thing with the Dr. Stetson Wiltshire, whom we had on that occasion as well. And so this year, we are having Dr. Wiltshire again, along with the General, Edwin Yearwood, and our Grammy nominee, Mr. Nicholas Branca and friends, to celebrate what we produced here in this country.
That's excellent. Now, Mr. Elcock, tell us about how the plans are coming along for this fundraising effort.
Well, Tisha, you can call me Adrian, first of all. I feel a little old, with Mr. Elcock. Anyhow, but, the show is coming along beautifully. We have sold quite a bit of tickets, and we expect a great crowd there, well over 500 people. And we still have some tickets available for those of you who have never been to the St. George Rectory grounds, which is right next to the Polyclinic when you come up Churchill from the church. It's really a picturesque, it's a magical sight, day or night. And our platinum sponsor, DB Productions, has started putting in the infrastructure, and he has done an amazing job thus far, and it's not even completed. So when you come to our show, you're going to see you're going to have a spacious area on the lawns to spread out. We're going to have chairs. You can bring your own picnic chair if you want to. We have a VIP marquee as well if you want to buy those tickets for $200. And we're going to have the canapes provided by the celebrity chef, Michael Hines. He's going to be providing our culinary feast. And when you come to the show, you're going to enjoy the musical talents of Nicholas Branca and his friends in the band. You're going to have the cultural ambassador, Dr. Stetson Red Plastic Bag, RPB Wiltshire. And you're going to have the Oh Gosh Man, Edwin Yearwood. These are amazing musicians. These are talents of our island that we need to celebrate. And when Father Rogers decided some 5 years ago that he wanted to do ministry and song by bringing the musical griots into our space, into the community, I jumped on it and I told him, look, I'll pull together some people and we'll try to make it happen. So our production team is pretty thrilled with where we are right now. We have tickets available at Exclusive Lighting in Manor Lodge, which is opposite the Price Mart complex. And we also have them at the church office, which is in the Glebe St. George. So you can also reach out to any of the box offices at 421-6946. or 429-0371 if you want to reserve tickets. So once again, tickets remaining at $100 for regular admission on the picturesque grounds, or if you want to be the VIP marquee, we're going to have tickets at $200, and we're going to have full all-inclusive fare within the VIP marquee.
All right, so Reverend Doctor, tell me how the congregation have been preparing for this. I'm sure they're very excited to be a part of what's happening as you welcome what's happening in the community. Like you said, get out with you know, it serves multiple roles. So really threefold, I suppose, to get out into the community, to do a little bit of fundraising, and of course to showcase our musical maestros. So how are your congregation, how is the congregation preparing themselves, how are they preparing themselves for this special occasion?
Well, the congregation has been anticipating this for some time now. You know, we've been in a lockdown, and the first edition was so good that people were anticipating the second one coming up. In fact, even last year they were asking for it, but we weren't able to do it then. But this thing is multifaceted because the congregation understands the underlying goal of what we're trying to do here, because this also feeds our music academy, which caters to children throughout St. George. It doesn't matter whether you're a member of the church or not. All children have to do is pay $20 a year. They can be trained in any musical instrument, violin, wind instrument, steel pan. In fact, our academy began in 2019 with over 90 students. Yes, we've had a little hit in the COVID period where they're now coming back out, but last year, when the Steel Orchestra was formed, a significant number of the members were from our music academy. So there are already results there. And the whole underlying thing is that we want to bring our griots into the community, as Mr. Alcott said. We want to get our people to recognize the value of our culture and what these people are actually doing. But we also want to ensure that our children, for example, we can put an instrument into their hands, and if they have an instrument in their hand and they're trained in music, hopefully those hands will not be idle to receive something more deadly later on. And so it is a far-reaching goal. And plus, our older folk in particular want to go to an environment where they feel safe and where they can enjoy themselves, they can enjoy the music in their own way, and the rectory ground this certainly provides that for them.
All right, wonderful. Final word for you, Adrian, as we close up. I know fundraising is never an easy feat, no. But it's all for a worthy cause. So, I know you'd want to encourage everyone to come out and enjoy picturesque St. George and celebrate a worthy cause at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have been able to raise enough money to do our renovations at the church to get the music academy going, and it really is a labor of love. We strongly believe in the mission of our church to rise up and build, and we feel that by doing these type of events and by participating in community activity, that we're able really to celebrate each other and to celebrate our culture in a very special way. And religion is an important part of our culture, of which the Anglican faith has been very dominant in that for many years in Barbados. But we could not have done it without the support of some friends and sponsors. As I said, DB Production has been with us for the last 5-6 years, supporting every single event that we do. And this year we had the National Cultural Foundation, the CEO, Carol Roberts-Reefer, was very excited about this, and she believed that they needed to play a role in helping us to support their own mandate of pushing our culture deeper into the community. And with the cast that we have and with the environment that we're in, it kind of ties very nicely into the launch of the Crop Over Festival, which you will hear about later on your show, as you mentioned. So we also have Steinbach Management Services, Exclusive Lighting, Systems Caribbean Limited. We have had a good support network from many of the corporate entities within Barbados. We always encourage more, of course, but we really want you to come out. And as I said, it's only $100. Tickets are still available, and you can come on out and help us. And Tisha, I'm sure you'll be there. We'll talk later about getting you there, and come and enjoy the magical environment called St. George Rectory.
All right. I'm sure that Reverend Doctor will be happy to hear that I literally live 2 minutes away.
Oh, lovely.
I'm just up the road, Halton, so I'm around the corner. I'm around the corner. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. And I really, you know, I really look forward to it and wish you the best in these fundraising efforts. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
Thanks for having us.
And thanks for watching, Adrian. I know you're watching every day.
Yes, I am. I enjoy your program. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. And it's time now for us to update you on the news. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, 3.5 minutes after 7 o'clock. Time now for an update of the news. Financial advice this morning for those interested in the cannabis industry. One of the main hindrances to the development of the industry is that of banking. Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, says the way to unlock it will depend on who Barbados relates to and with.
We feel, quite frankly, that as it relates to medicinal cannabis, so long as the money is in the banking system and all the transactions are taking place digitally, then there should be no element of risk associated with that. And therefore, banks ought to, on the face of that, allow the facilitation of it. But of course, if you have, as I said, at the federal level in the United States where you may want to export these things, they're saying it's illegal. But at the state level, it's not. Then you're going to always have a situation where, again, the rules will apply differently, because at the end of it, we want to, not just on the pharmaceutical side of it, deal with the medicines, but at the end of the day, there's a big world out there. And therefore, if our only focus is to export to the United States or Canada, then we will continue to have this problem. And therefore, with the frameworks that we're putting in place with the African Exempt Bank with respect to the payment settlement, provision of correspondent banking, then we have to determine, obviously, where we send stuff, where we market, and therefore, again, if we're going to diversify. When people are using their own regulatory systems to keep you down, effectively, yeah? To keep you down, then we have to find other ways to survive. But from a banking perspective, so long as the money is clean, it's already in the system, there's really no legitimate excuse for not facilitating it from that perspective, because it is like any other pharmaceutical business. We're doing R&D and research in order to be able to drive that.
Chief Executive Officer of Sajor Bank, George Thomas, says it's a complex problem which we have to dig into.
If persons in Barbados, companies want to continue doing business in the U.S. and in Canada, the correspondent banks, even if we find an alternate, like the Afrexim Bank, and we are in Sagicor Bank is in discussions with Afrexim Bank, that notwithstanding it, the correspondent banks will de-risk you unless we get to a place where there is common acceptance at a federal level that, and again, maybe it will probably start, I believe, with the medicinal use of it as opposed to recreational products. But that is, it's not an easy, there's no easy solution to this. So for now, that's why you won't find any of the banks that have really stepped forward. But it's something that we are keeping, keeping the mind open to, and doing the required work to see if we can get to an equitable solution.
German carrier Condor Airlines is returning to Barbados. The airline and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated have announced the return of Condor, connecting Frankfurt with the island. Chairman of the board of the BTMI, Shelley Williams, issued a statement following the development. She notes Germany has traditionally been the stronger market for Barbados within the European bloc. Tickets are already on sale. The BTMI also completed a successful tour of England, Scotland and Ireland, meeting with top travel partners, including tour operators, travel agents and airlines, to assess Barbados' position in the market and explore opportunities for increasing business. Additionally, local tourism officials are confident Barbados is in good standing with the UK market for the upcoming winter season. And that's your update of news. Remember, we're going to have more news coming your way at 12 noon right here on CBC TV 8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations, 100.7 FM, 98.1 and 94.7 FM. Morning Barbados comes back after this. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 11 minutes now after 7 o'clock. This is one of my favorite segments on Morning Barbados, where we get to reach into the communities and get to know some exceptional youth a little bit more. And it's another plus that he's also a Hines. No, we're not related as far as I know. But let me go ahead and welcome exceptional youth, Stefan Hines, who is joining us this morning. Hey, Stefan.
Hi.
All right, good to have you with us. Now, first of all, you're a student at St. Augustine, so in Trinidad. So talk to me about the transition from, being here with mom and dad and family and all of that support and going to school outside of the island.
Honestly, I will say it's not that big of a cultural difference just because Trinidad is another Caribbean island. Generally speaking, everything works the same. The only issue you may really have is with concerns with safety, but other than that, I've met a lot of great people and had a lot of great interactions. I made a lot of memories, and the independence is also nice. They're being able to go where you want.
You know, you wanted to lead with that, the independence.
Well, yeah, that's where most people go. You want to start your own life and chart your own journey and things like that. So
yeah,
that is nice.
Was mommy like they call us helicopter moms? I'm one of those.
Of course. When I first came back, she came screaming, running through the arrivals at the airport to say, my son is here.
Oh, of course you grow to appreciate that.
Yes.
But when you have parents who are that involved, especially when you engage with other people who don't have that, you feel that they miss it. So enjoy it while it lasts, which will be forever.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, all right. So you were named the National Sports Council Schoolboy Champion. That means that you're a bodybuilding enthusiast. Of course, we can see the physique as you sit here. But your interest in bodybuilding started from around second form. So tell me what piqued your interest initially.
Initially, I was never really into sports, but my father and I used to watch American Ninja Warrior a lot. And there was just one night this in particular guy came on and he did something weird. I can't really describe it, but he did something different, and I just said, I want to be able to do that. So from there, I would have branched off and began doing a lot of research. And yeah, a lot of research, started training about nutrition and just trying to train properly and eat right. I started off just doing push-ups and things like that around, but eventually as I got more knowledge and gained more experience, it would have evolved into having proper workouts and diet plans and things like that.
Tell me how the parents felt about it, because usually when your children start doing something, and they're so into it, parents, they kind of have to come along for the ride.
Yeah, at first my parents were a bit skeptical just because I'm so young, but eventually as I would have talked to my track coach and things like that, they would have gained a better understanding. Even to this day, sometimes my mother sees me doing stuff in the gym when I'm squatting a lot of weight. She's like, oh my gosh, where's my son doing all of this? And don't hurt yourself and things like that. But they have always supported me through whatever I did. So the support was always there.
All right, so talk to me about the sport itself and what it means to you, because obviously you would have been looking on throughout the years. Who are some of the people that you've been looking to and some of the ways that you're continuing to train your body?
Generally speaking, I don't think I have a particular role model. My current posing coach, Roger Boyce, is someone that I look up to and I try to emulate, as he's very knowledgeable and he's very prominent in the sport, as well as a number of athletes I would have met when I first went and did the Barbados national competition. They were all extremely helpful. I was still very new to it, and they would have guided me and helped me pose and helped me make sure I had proper oils and pants and everything I needed. So they would have really taken care of me throughout that process. In terms of fitness, generally I work out because I have fun. I just do it because I enjoy it, and I think that's one of the most important things about whenever you do something. So I just do it because I enjoy it, and I enjoy the training. The dieting, not always, because it is a bit hectic and stressful, but it's just fun for me and enjoyable. So
take us through the journey of that first competition you competed in.
The first competition, I was 15, 16ish, I think. I had a friend, his name is Tamal Howard. He went to Queen's College with me. He actually did it prior to me. He was always like, Stefan, you work out. We always talked about it. He said, you're built well, you should come and do it. And I was always like, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't do it. But that year, my track coaches, Brian Holder and Michael Grosner, they would have also encouraged me to just try it and see what happens. And that's what I did. It was an interesting experience, I will say. Posing is hard. It may look like you're just standing there, but it is hard to try to focus and get all your muscles properly flexed and things like that. So, and holding it for a long time as well.
Let's take a break and come. All right, so welcome back. I had an attack of the allergies, had to take a break and go get some water. So let's get back into the interview. I know you'd know a difference with my voice is because of, I had a little bit of a coughing fit, but hopefully we'll be able to get through this morning. So you were telling me all about how you've been training and how the parents kind of caught on and love that. How did the friends receive it? Because I know sometimes at secondary school, friends can be a little different when you're doing something different.
My friends, honestly, they weren't big on it. They weren't like, oh my gosh, we should exclude him. I was a little bit arrogant, I will admit that, in my younger years. But I was always just the sports guy, the guy that did the sports and just always Mr. Muscular, because even from a young age, I still had somewhat of a good physique. So yes, coupled with a little bit of arrogance then. But they all received it well and things like that.
Do you think you're going to pursue maybe bodybuilding in the near future, trying to maybe go pro, considering that you have somebody like Roger Boyce as your posing coach?
I don't think I'm going to pursue going to pro, but if by chance I were to enter a show and win a pro card, I would absolutely take the opportunity to go and compete at that level, because it is a prestigious level to compete and an honor to compete at such a high level.
All right, what would you say to any young people out there who might be interested in just being fit, staying fit, interested in bodybuilding or fitness modeling, sometimes as is deemed different in the different categories?
I will say be patient, be patient. Nothing happens quickly like that. You just need to be patient as well as have fun. Don't do things that make you miserable. If you're miserable, you're not going to want to keep doing it. So even with your diet, you don't need to eat veggies and greens and have bad tasting food all the time, but just make sure you have fun with it and try not to make yourself miserable when you're doing it. And consistency is key.
Yeah, when you look at yourself on stage, when you look back at yourself competing and stuff like that, how do you feel? What do you think?
Honestly, looking back, especially at the Roger Boyce, I was really nervous because, again, I'm 19 years old, I'm young, and I'm going on a stage in a men's physique class. So that had me a bit nervous. But at the end of the day, I said, let me just go up and do my best. I have nothing to lose here. I'm young. I still have time to improve and be better at it. So that's what I went to the competition thinking, just to try to put my best foot forward and be the best that I could be.
And what are you studying at St. Augustine?
I am currently doing biology.
Yeah?
BSc in biology, yes, please.
Enjoying it?
Yes, I'm enjoying it. It's an interesting experience, to say the least.
All right, I want to thank you for sharing with us Stefan Hines, former National Sports Council schoolboy champion, and our champion today, as we salute you as another exceptional youth. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break and come back. We're talking summer camp up next. Hey, we're talking Soccer Academy Camp, 29 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's welcome Jafar Wilson and Eric Puckering. They're both football players, and we're talking about the Barbados Soccer Academy. So Camp Superior is back in the summer vacation, and we want to talk a little bit about that. Good morning, guys. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados.
All right, good morning. Good to have you with us. Let me start with you, Jafar. Talk to me about your love for football.
Well, I've been playing football since I was a child, for forever. And I really love and enjoy playing sport, and I hope I can keep playing it for as long as possible.
Wonderful. What about you, Eric?
Yes, I started loving football from a young age. Actually, as early as I could have walked, I was playing with some football. So it's always been a pleasure to be a part of the sport, and I really enjoy it.
All right, now we are hearing about a summer camp this time around. That is going to be at the Lawrence T. Gay Primary School and the Wesley Hall School. Now, instead of Combermere, I think that was advertised before. So, tell me a little bit more about it, Jafar.
Well, originally the camp was held at Combermere for the past 19 years, but this year we decided to move to Lawrence T. Gay Memorial as well. The camp is starting from July 17th and will extend for 6 weeks to August 25th. At the camp appears activities such as sporting activities such as football, cricket, netball, basketball, arts and craft, dancing, educational tours, and much more.
Eric, were you a part of the camp as well over the years?
No, not over the years. I was not a part of the camp. I didn't actually attend it, but last year I was a part of conducting it, but I was not previously a participant of the camp.
All right, so you have worked in the capacity as camp counselor, so to speak, working with some of the sports programs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell us what your experience was like working with the students, and I would imagine of varying ages. So talk to us about the age groups and the various disciplines that will be offered, the area specifically that you'll be working in.
Right, so my experience of conducting the camp last year was fun. I got to work with some persons that were around, ranging from 6 years old up to about 18 years old. So I was conducting some football exercises, but mainly because football is my favorite activities, but I'm also well versed in other areas of sports such as basketball, volleyball, and
Oh, you truly are well-rounded. What about you, Jafar? Talk to us about your involvement with Camp Superior.
Well, when it was coming up, I attended the camp when I was younger, and last year I had the opportunity to counsel once I had it. And while I was counseling, I took part in arts and craft. We would play games, have conversations, also play like video games too. I also took part in football, track and field, the similar sports as him. But I also want to mention, other than athletics, the camp also offers 11+ classes, CSAT classes, and SAT classes.
All right, so that's right. So like Jafar mentioned, 11+ classes, SAT classes, CSET classes are available, educational tours, lectures in money management, financial planning, public speaking, etiquette classes. So you know why it's called Camp Superior. The prestigious summer camp will be hosted from Monday, July 17th to Friday, August 25th for boys and girls between the ages of 4 to 18. Quite a long range. Activities at the camp will be from Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and doors open from 7:30 right up until 5 o'clock. The major sporting activities, like we mentioned, will be included: soccer, basketball, cricket, netball, track and field, volleyball, road tennis, table tennis, art and craft, drama, dancing, and so much more. Now we know why it's called Camp Superior. Thank you, Jafar Wilson and Eric Puckerin, for coming through and sharing with us. And I know that when young people like you become camp counselors, then you really understand what the teachers were talking about when they get in front of the classes, right?
yes, of course.
Also, thanks for having us. But also, I want to add that you can collect the camp funds from Lawrence T. Gay Memorial, Westall Junior School, and also Sports and Games in Johannesburg.
All right, excellent. And again, the camp will be at Lawrence T. Gay this time and the Wesley Hall Primary School instead of Combermere. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Wonderful. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking about the art installation that's connected with the opening gala and ceremonial delivery of the last canes. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
24 minutes to go before 8 o'clock. We have to welcome two wonderful people back to Morning Barbados. No strangers, but I'm not sure if we've ever had them together. So that's brand new. Rodney Eiffel is the NCF Visual Arts Officer, and Onika Small is the curator of the ceremonial delivery of the Last Canes art installation. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to the entire island of Barbados. Good
Welcome.
morning.
As I said, something new, a new combination.
Yes, indeed, Tisha. To start things off, we're going to have this Saturday very exciting event. It is going to be free to the public for all persons to come out, family, friends, everyone, all walks of life. We are encouraging to come out to the Hayman's Factory, which is in the north area of the woods. And I remember when Haymans used to wake me up for lunch, not wake me up for lunch, but sorry, used to have their bell toning for the lunch period when I was a young boy at Half Moon Fort Primary School. So we're going to have the Digicel ceremonial delivery of the Last Canes. And with that, there's going to also be a vintage Calypso tent. And we're going to be under the theme Sugar Reimagined. So it's going to happen on Saturday, July the 1st at 2 p.m. at the Hayman's Sugar Factory in St. Peter. That's just off the highway there if you're going along to Bakers, etc. And it's very easy to find. And there's going to be a number of delights. It's a very, very packed program. You're going to have Barbadian culinary delights, art and craft workshops for persons who like to, get their hands into things. And then we're going to have also a Bajan marketplace and the vintage Calypso tent, which will feature cultural ambassadors, the Mighty Gabby, Red Plastic Bag. Imagine that lineup. The Mighty Grinder. And it gets sweeter with Edwin Yearwood, Lil Rick. And then we're going to have the Calypso Monarch in Kwan, Serenade. We're going to have Mad, iWeb, Biggie Irie, Mr. Blood, Ishaka McNeil, Barry Chandler, Bruce Lee, Almighty, and Asanta. So what a lineup to be there to have towards the evening time when we participate in that event. And there are also going to be special performances by the Landship Association, Dance in Africa, and there's also going to be Sun Rock and more. So imagine such a wonderful lineup to feast your eyes on, to have an experience walking through free of charge to the public. And in terms of my role, really, I know Onika will speak to hers. Right now, we are working diligently with artist Anthony Payne to construct the Dre cart, and that's happening at the NCF right now. Anthony is working around the clock. He's going to be making a nice, wonderful surprise in the form of a windmill. So I want you to come out and see that as it presents itself on the Saturday. And in Barbados had a history of some 510 sugar mills. So Anthony is working on that, and we're also working on the awards to be presented. And we'd like to thank Mr. Reginald Medford and Mr. Hammy Wiltshire for those awards for our stalwarts and sugar workers. So my component of that, we are working to bring that component home, and all of our other hardworking colleagues at the NCF, including our plant and equipment department, are building the stages, and everyone pretty much hands on deck to ensure that this event comes off to the public in a wonderful and spectacular way.
After that comprehensive summary, all that's left for us to say is, in Jesus' name, amen. Rodney, amen. I mean, like everything, all wrapped into one. Onika, I know I was there yesterday. We had a site visit for the sponsors, and, we had all of the vendors who are going to be there, members of the media. So it truly was a hive of activity, and just for the people who are working behind the scenes and getting the planning done and so on. So I really expect it's going to be a great time to be had by all on Saturday at Hayman's Factory. Like I mentioned before, we're going to bring it to you live here on TV8. From 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it will be live on our sister station Q 100.7 as well. So lots to look forward to. And Rodney, if we weren't convinced before, Onika, we're convinced now of why we need to head on out. Additionally, there will be, this is where you come in, that right. Wonderful installation. Let's talk about that.
Will do. Every time I hear Rodney talk about an event, I get excited and I sign on to it and I go. I feel in the same way about the Digicel ceremonial delivery of the Last Canes. We got to thank our main sponsor, who is Digicel. And within that, we have a group, I call them a very diverse group of artists, being Dawn Small, Christina Murray, Shane Eastman, and Heather Dawn Scott. and they have been working, as Rodney says, it's crop over season, so everything seems around the clock and 24 hours under rain, sun, shine, to produce this mural, which is inspired by the theme called Sugar Reimagined. So they really all, NCF created a vision board where we sent them information that could kickstart their inspiration. And they have created a design which was spearheaded using digital technology by Shane Eastman. And they have installed themselves at the Hayman's Market, Hayman's Factory, Friday last week, and they have been sketching and painting. The paint has been sponsored or donated by Berger Paint, so we're very happy about that, and we're excited to see what will be installed. It's holding feature position as directed by our CEO, so we have to thank Miss Carol A.M. Roberts for always looking out for the visual artists, especially during Copover, where we could get subsumed in the season, but we're really out front and center this year.
Absolutely, and I saw that yesterday, even in talking with everyone about the prominence that visual arts and craft and, you know, all manner of art will take in this opening celebration, really to signal the official start to the festival. So we definitely look forward to all that will be happening. Now, in the traditional Bajan sense, malicious people who are behind the scenes here at CBC, they're talking about the painting behind you, Onika, because apparently there's a dollar. It's as we would say, a silver dollar that really is like the outline of the painting. Yeah.
It is. This piece was actually done by Shane Eastman, and it was acquired by the NCF last year for the opening of the Season of Emancipation exhibitions that we held in May 2022. So Shane is actually one of the artists who will be working, or who is working on the mural. I call it my lucky dollar. So it is always about prosperity and abundance. I feel behind me when I get into the office is what I see in our team office. So I'm really happy to have it as our backdrop this morning.
I agree with you with that lucky dollar. I need a lucky dollar in my life. No hard luck twos. No hard luck twos. Just a lucky dollar for my pocket. Yeah, and I'm sure, Rodney, you're loving that, because as the officer for visual arts, this is what you live for. You know, for people to be able to see and experience the art as it is, and feel the art, embrace the art, and that's what's going to be happening on Saturday. Yes?
Yes, indeed. Yes, Onika and I love it with all our hearts and souls.
All right.
So thanks to our creatives and yeah.
I was just saying, we also want to let people know that everybody thinks that Hayman's is far. For me, it just feels really simple. One drive on one straight road. There isn't usually a lot of traffic, and there's a bus service being provided as well. I believe buses are leaving from Princess Alice. There's a Rock Hall bus that people should be looking for. And from Spikestown and Oystons, you're looking for the ABC highway bus. So we can all get there. There's plenty. I was there yesterday as well, Tisha. There's plenty of room for parking. It's a huge space. It looks like a huge endeavor, again, by the NCF, bringing together all the diverse aspects of culture. It's really quite exciting.
It truly is, and I must say that, you know, being there yesterday brought the level of excitement that I didn't have hearing about Hayman's Factory. But as you mentioned, as soon as you turn off the highway, it's straight ahead. You can't miss it. As you say, opposite the Black Vest sign. So, you know, the sign you get to that says Black Vest on the right, just make the left and you're right there. So, you know, Onika, you know my love for the arts. You know my love for art. We have a mutual friend who is a phenomenal artist as well. So I truly look forward to this. Absolutely. We truly look forward to this installation. And, of course, the Digicel ceremonial delivery of the last canes and vintage Calypso tent, as only the NCF could do, make it a big, long name that has to fit on a Dre cart.
But it's pretty, and it's going to stand out in your experiences for Cropover. It won't, there's nothing that's going to top it, I swear. I just go to the meetings and I listen to all these many components, and it's really exciting and a really big job. So we got to really big up Casey Karen Pestina on this one, who is the co-producer. She's been working hard, as well as Rodney has said, the whole team really has their hands, every hand on deck.
All right, wonderful. Look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. Rodney, final word for you.
Yeah, we would like to also thank Mr. Ricardo Ski and Maria Elias. They're painting some wonderful fabric to soften the walls for your experience as you enter there as well. And also, we would like to invite the public to come out and celebrate our tangible and intangible heritage and support and maintain it, bring out the children to learn for our future and to play our games and celebrate our culture and heritage to the max. So we are looking for lots of crowds to come on down. It's free to the public. And we'd like to thank our creatives for participating and working very hard, and all of our staff, as I said, and our Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Carol A.M. Roberts, for making this very possible experience for our Barbadian public to partake of. So we encourage your participation fully.
Thank you both for coming through, and I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. You're both showing your ages, talking about Carol A.M. Roberts, but do have a good day. All right?
You too,
so make sure you come on out or tune in, but we'd love to see you at Heyman's Factory on Saturday. Up next on Morning Barbados, we are taking you on a trip. We're heading to Liberia. How? You'll find out only if you stay here. Come on back.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so welcome back. I told you that we're going to make some connections here this morning. Just about 12 minutes to go before 8 o'clock. It goes quickly on the show. So always lots happening. We want to remind you of all the amazing things coming up this weekend. And we certainly are glad that you will be able to head on down, bring the entire family down to Heyman's Factory. Believe me when I tell you, you won't be disappointed. It's very, very spacious. There are a lot of renovations that have taken place. And there are some nice spots in the factory yard that you will want to check out. Of course, it will also feature a millennial zone, so some of the younger entertainers are going to be there. And then on the main stage, you have the Vintage Calypso tent, all under the banner of the Digicel ceremonial delivery of the last canes, and then Vintage Calypso tent. That's all to kick off the Crop Over Festival 2023 officially, because we know you've been out and about and partying already. So this is the official start to the festival. Now I have some beautiful ladies joining me to close up the show this morning. Here is Tahana Weeks and also Ophelia Weeks, and they've brought along Shireen Smith. And I heard that somehow there's going to be a family reunion going on, and we're also going to talk about lemongrass productions. So I'm going to start with you, Shireen, to kind of lay the groundwork and tell us all about it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us on your program. We're happy to be in Barbados. Heard the rooster crowing, so we felt right at home. Well, we're here because we produced a docu-series with over 105 interviews that will be premiering on July 26th. We're part of the Weeks family. They have their family reunion, but we're all cousins. And we over 80 that came from all over, and we're here to celebrate the return of the Breakora. That was the ship that left from Carlisle Bay with over 147 Barbadians who went to Liberia to help with the new republic.
So the Weeks Family Reunion, we put the documentary to premiere the trailer tonight at the Barbadian Historical Museum. And so we're very excited about it, and we want to share more about it with the people of Barbados.
Excellent. Tihana, tell me about your experience in hearing about Barbados and now being here for this reunion and, of course, the launch of the docuseries.
So our family has been wanting to return to Barbados for some time and have a family reunion here because of our historical ties to the island. As my cousin Shireen mentioned, the Brig Corps left in 1865. The anniversary of that will be next year. And so we're just excited to finally have made this reunion happen. It was originally supposed to happen in 2020. We all know what happened that awesome year. And now finally in 2023, we are here on the island and celebrating our family and our roots here in Barbados.
All right, Ophelia, talk to me about those roots.
Well, as has been said, first of all, thank you for inviting us here.
Of course.
Our roots come from Barbados. In 1865, the Brig Corps left Barbados for Liberia with 346 Barbadians. The idea was that these Barbadians thought that by going to Liberia, this was a developing country in West Africa, they would improve the lives of their families. And so over 50 families, numbering, like I said, 346, made this trip to Liberia. And the Liberian government invited them to come and help build Liberia. They settled in an area that was about 20 miles outside of Monrovia, and they named the settlement Cruiserville. And that's where our roots are, Cruiserville, because my grandfather, for instance, his mother and father were on that ship that sailed to Liberia. She was 8 years old, and he was 5 years old. And my grandfather is the first generation Barbadian Liberian, or I would say Bajan Liberian, in Liberia. I'm the third generation.
All right, so talk to me about your roots back to Barbados. Did you hear much about Barbados? How did it come back to you? Because I'm told, based on our own research and what we know about it, that there are quite a few things and places in that place that were named for their memories of Barbados. They truly were able to develop the area to maybe a little taste of home. So did you hear much about Barbados as you grew up as a third generation Barbadian? Or, was it that over time then you were able to find out more on your own? What was the experience?
Well, first of all, Cruiserville is an 8-mile square settlement or township. And the major street in Liberia that runs the length of the township, which is about 8 miles, is called Lemongrass Street. The other important thing to note is that breadfruit was introduced into Liberia from Barbados as well. And we, as Tihana indicated, we've been having family reunions for a while now, since 1988. And this is our 17th one. And we wanted to come back to connect with our cousins that are here in Barbados. And yes, we heard a lot about the importance, and this is from our roots in Barbados, the importance of education, the importance of the dignity of labor, the importance of family, and the importance of service to community. And those values, I think, run deep in our family.
For sure. So Ophelia, let's get into, you said that you're going to be premiering the trailer in association with the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. So congratulations on that. So just preview the docuseries itself and tell us how we can find out more about Lemongrass Productions. And of course, when we hear things like lemongrass, it truly feels like Beijing. It feels like home, yeah.
Well, I'm so excited because with the trailer, I brought a copy for you to be able to show on your network. You talk about how we heard about Barbados, and the whole thing about creating this docu-series was from my grandfather, who was a second-generation Barbadian in Crozaville. And when I was a little girl, I'll sit on the stoop, and he'll sit up on his chair, and he talked about the West Indies. He talked about Barbados. He talked about Christchurch. So I realized that with us being spread all over the world on every continent, it was important that we remember those stories, that we connect and find out what happened, the stories about our ancestors. So from my grandfather telling me the stories about Barbados, we wanted to get everybody together. So this project started in 2017. We started interviewing the oldest family members, people in their 90s, 80s, and then they were in-person interview. But of course, COVID came, and that was a blessing too, because with Zoom, we managed to connect with people all over the world. So I want to tell the people of Barbados that you'll find out what happened to your relatives. The families that were on that ship with familiar names like the Patmos, the Torps, the Holders, the Weeks, the Goodriches, the Wilds, the Eastmans, all of the Worrells, all of these families, you see them. You see your distant cousins, you see the younger generation, and people are saying, well, why are you interviewing people in their 30s and 40s? They don't know anything, but you'll be surprised because the younger generation sat with their grandparents when their parents were at work, and they told them stories. And we also wanted for everybody to know, people in Barbados to know what happened to all of these people. What are the younger generation doing? So you find out that they have become very successful, they're hardworking, and it's just fascinating. Over 105 interviews since 2017.
Tiana, quickly, as we wrap, we're coming to the end of the show, but you know, as a younger member of the family, has that been your experience too? I'm sure it must be really exciting to be a part of this as it unfolds.
Yes, absolutely. Our family has made a concerted effort to really involve the younger generation, as my cousin Shireen said, whether it be in the documentary to just talk about our experience with the family, or to help plan reunions. Like this reunion here in Barbados, and I'm sure we'll be getting some family members involved in what we call our Croceville Restoration Project, which is a project to build a museum that honors the families who came from Barbados and settled in Croceville. So we're very excited about that project, and we're happy to be here today to hopefully spread the word and maybe connect with our family members here on the island, and maybe that can happen this week. We're here for a week through July 2nd. Most of us will be here through July 2nd, maybe the 3rd as well. If not this week, we're happy to connect with people afterwards. You know.
All right, well, good things. We have the internet now, and at least the foundation has been laid. So thank you, ladies, for coming in and sharing with us. We definitely will be encouraging people to look out for this series. We most certainly will share about it. And it truly has me intrigued. To Hannah Weeks, Ophelia Weeks, Shireen Smith of Lemongrass Productions, and here to be a part of a family reunion. Liberia in Barbados, Barbados in Liberia. Who knew? We definitely have to do a little bit more research. It's been wonderful to connect with you ladies and have you with us. So you heard some of the family names. Make sure you look into it. Coming up on tomorrow's show, the Community Summer Challenge. Celeste Foster from the Barbados Entrepreneurship Foundation will be in to tell us more about that. We continue with the Power of One segment sponsored by C.O. Williams Construction. And Latoya Phillips is going to be here skating with us. Bring your skates along. If you've not done roller skating for a while, you definitely want to check out tomorrow's breakfast party, brought to you with the compliments of No Sugar Coke, Dasani Water, and Schweppes. That's all coming up. Plus, Mix It in 5 with DJ Chili. That and a whole lot more. Jojo Steven will be here to talk about a brand new song for Crop Over, and we preview what you can expect with the official launch to the Crop Over Festival. On behalf of the entire crew, thank you for staying with us. Remember to wear your smiles today and always, and come on back tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you.